Welcome, gentlemen. It's been a sad, sad season for the Deeks, but to lighten up the mood, we thought we'd tell you a crazy but true fantasy story. Tales of fantasy stories, my friend. Let me tell you a true story about a fantasy player who owned two quarterbacks, Brett Favre and Matt Hasselbeck. Week 5 comes along. A good matchup for both players, gentlemen. Jacksonville for Hasselbeck. St. Louis for Favre. Over contemplating long and hard, this fantasy player decided to choose to start Favre. Rightfully so, I believe. Against St. Louis, the worst team in the league, perhaps. Hasselbeck against a decent offensive team, a terrible defensive team, Jacksonville. This fantasy player, turns out to, he chooses Favre and ends up losing because on this particular week, Hasselbeck throws for 4 touchdowns, 241 yards, and scores about 35 points. And Favre, 1 touchdown, 232 yards, 12 points. It was a sad day for this fantasy player because he lost by less points than he would have made had he started Hasselbeck. Now here, gentlemen, is the difficulty in fantasy football. The man who started Favre over Hasselbeck was the man himself, Matt Hasselbeck, in his own league. He started Favre over himself. So, the moral here, gentlemen, is don't be so hard on yourself when you don't know who to start, because Matt Hasselbeck doesn't even know when to start himself, gentlemen. So, let's move on. The Deeks do a lot of complaining, gentlemen. A lot of complaining. But I'll tell you what. On this particular week, there's one person who has a right to complain a lot more than the Deeks. And that person, my friend, let me just start by saying, on a week where Joseph Addai threw a touchdown pass, on a week Joseph Addai throws a touchdown pass, Peyton Manning has none. On a week where, after the last 3 games having 4 touchdowns, Austin Collie has 0. On a week where Ted Ginn Jr. has 200-yard kick returns and Ronnie Brown has 0 touchdowns and 27 yards. On a week where Peyton Manning, Brandon Jacobs, Ronnie Brown, Brandon Marshall, Austin Collie score no touchdowns, and Owen Daniels gets eliminated for the entire year against the bottom-feeding Riverfish. I get a call from the Riverfish about how proud he is of his victory, when for the first time in 15 games, Peyton Manning doesn't have a touchdown pass. And if you were to parlay no touchdowns for Peyton Manning, Brandon Jacobs, Ronnie Brown, Brandon Marshall, Austin Collie, Owen Daniels, and the Eagles' defense, you'd be a rich man with $1, gentlemen. The bottom-feeding Riverfish are just that. Bottom-feeding Riverfish. There will be a poll associated with this rant, gentlemen, and I expect you to join me and answer. Now, given we're a little short on time this week, gentlemen, we're going to do a quick review of the last few rounds of the draft. Let's get to it. Top and worst, best and worst pick in each round, gentlemen. Let's get to it. Round 5. I'm gonna be dead honest with you, gentlemen. The best pick in round 5. An ordinary seaman makes a decent comeback. Matt Schaub, gentlemen. a close second, Ocho Cinco for the Deeks. Just thought I'd mention that. Worst pick in round 5, gentlemen. Lendale White, Orca. Bench warmer. Round 6, gentlemen. The best pick of the draft of round 6, easy call. Orca selects Ray Rice. Nicely done. And the crowning loser of this round by a mile, Derek Ward, the Deeks. Ugh. We've already been over that one, gents. Round 7. The winner of round 7. Easy call, gentlemen. The Buffalo Gills select Thomas Jones. Nicely done. Nicely done. And the crowning loser of round 7 has to be anyone who selects a Raider named Louis Murphy. Dr. Hook? Are you serious? Then again, the Deeks did lose to Dr. Hook this week. The most obliterating, embarrassing loss of the Deeks in fantasy history. Dr. Hook's team is horrendously bad, may I say. Round 8, gentlemen. I think the winner has to be... It would have been Owen Daniels for Captain Staben, but as we mentioned, he's out for the year, so Owen Daniels is out. That bumps up the Deeks selecting Big Ben, who still is on the bench and still is up for trade, gentlemen. Worst pick of round 8. Let's see here. I'm going to have to go with Anthony Gonzalez for deadliest catch. Still hasn't played a snap, gentlemen. Round 9. The winner of round 9, easy call. Cedric Benson for the Big Tuna. Nice job. Nicely done. The loser of round 9 has to be the Buffalo Gills selecting the Titans defense, who I don't think has a positive day yet. Round 10. You've got to give round 10 to Percy Harvin, the Sea Dogs. Nicely done. There's a lot of losers here, but we'll go with Trent Edwards, Buffalo Gills. The Deeks were wrong on that one. Round 11. Best choice? I'd say Kellen Winslow's a nice choice by Captain Staben. The worst pick of round 11, who just got cut, Chris Chambers by the Deeks. The Deeks are on the tops and the bottoms a lot. What can I tell you? Round 12, gentlemen. The best pick of round 12? Probably the Deeks again. Brett Favre. He's legit. Round 12. Worst pick. I'm going to have to say there aren't any worst picks on that round. Round 13. Since we're so far in the draft, we're just going to go with good picks now, gentlemen. Round 13. Nothing special here. Maybe Heath Miller, the bottom-feeding riverfish. Round 14. Let's see. Nothing going on here. And by the way, I noticed Lawrence Maroney was drafted, so I take that off of the undrafted board, and that is a sad situation for the running backs. Round 15. Best choice? Nothing really going on here either. Round 16. And here is where the Buffalo Gills succeed with a huge boon in Vernon Davis. Every year we select Vernon Davis, and every year he fails, except for this one, gentlemen. And in closing, the Deeks would like to say that we just received word that we are being canceled for reruns of the Golden Girls until we have a 500 record, gentlemen. So we're saying adios for good. Till the Deeks are 500. Adios.